In a special televised address to the nation last night, Israel's president called for a compromise to the government's plans to overhaul the judicial system, which has triggered protests across the country. Herzog warned that Israel was on the verge of societal and constitutional collapse. He implored citizens on both sides to refrain from violence.
We are long past being in a political argument. Rather, we are on the brink of constitutional and social collapse.
The president also appealed to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to seek a compromise with his political opponents and proposed a 5-point agreement.
An agreement can be reached. The President's office is fully committed to the issue and is open at all hours of the day for talks that will advance any cooperation arrangement you choose. From a joint meeting through the establishment of an action team to a committee that will deal with formulating the agreements. Any way you choose, any time you choose, provided that we move to a constructive and sustaining discourse and abandon the deceiving, belittling and nullifying discourse. I appeal to the chairman of the Knesset's Constitution, Law and Justice Committee and appeal to the coalition with a request not to bring the law to the first reading.
The Israeli government is currently facing a legislation to overhaul the legal system. This legislation would curb the High Court Justice's power to exercise judicial review. It would also give the government an automatic majority on the Judicial Selection Committee. It would allow lawmakers to overrule court rulings with a majority and allow government ministers to appoint their own legal advisors. In a direct comment on the proposed judicial overhaul in Israel, United States President Joe Biden urged for consensus building. Meanwhile, the proposed reforms by Netanyahu's government has triggered countrywide demonstrations and intense opposition from various quarters of the Israeli society. While the government plans on bringing in reforms, the cabinet has also okayed legislation of 9 West Bank outposts in response to the terror attacks in East Jerusalem. Palestinian Authority Prime Minister slammed the approvals, calling it a recipe for escalation, which threatens Palestine's very existence. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.